Good morning, everybody. Uh, I'm excited to present to you this morning while I get my slideshow going in the chat. Go ahead, get that called up because I will be putting some links in there and tell us who you are, what's your role, where you're from, and I'll get my screen going. All right, let's get some introduction music going too. That would be handy. There we go. Set the mood. If you can hear the music and see my screen, would you give me a thumbs up? All right, awesome. Love your thumbs. So there are lots of reasons to give students brain breaks. Think about it. Would you grade a tall stack of papers without taking breaks? Would you do your administrative paperwork, hours on end without breaks? You also probably need some snacks as you're going through a tall pile of work. And, sometimes as you're working, all you can think about is that break. And when you take it, oftentimes we come back to our work refreshed, awesome, ready to go. And that's what happens with students. Uh, the longer the teacher talks, sometimes the more crazy the kids become. Kids and their brains need breaks. And of course, the teachers get frustrated that they can't concentrate. There's lots of research on the value of brain breaks, and one of the pieces shows this that they showed a lesson, and as the lesson progresses, a 30-minute lesson with students, they're engaged at first, and then the disengagement level raises as the time goes on until finally at the end it's hard for them to hold on that long. The research found, though, if you just break it up into littler chunks with just short breaks, so instead of a 30-minute lesson, 10-minute pieces, uh, then you never get past that not happy phase of a lesson. And those breaks can be collaboration, they can be something within the lesson, they could be a quick stretch. Uh, but I have lots of other ideas that you could use for breaks as well. I'll put a link to this research in the chat in case you're interested in it. But that's been my philosophy of you just breaking things up and never doing anything too long with a group of students. But what do you do with them? That's hopefully while you're here, I have a lot of resources for you. In fact, this presentation has been over a year in the making, and this is the first time I've presented it to anyone. So I'm really excited to show you what I've come up with. Why it's taken me so long is I have gathered together lots of digital brain breaks. In the end, you will have dozens and dozens that you can use or share with your staff. Things that are really quick wins in different categories. So that's how we'll spend our time together this morning is really investigating the different kinds of breaks that are out there. And I'm going to demonstrate some, and then we're actually going to take a little break and give you a few minutes to try out a few. I'll have a menu of some that you can try, and then we'll report back. Plus, I'm hoping you can help make my list of brain breaks even better. So, I'm Tony Vincent, and I'm a former fifth grade teacher, uh, K through five school technology coach. Uh, Currently, I do presentations like this. I go to schools and conferences. And I also have working part-time with my local school district here in Council Bluffs, Iowa, as their AI coordinator. So it's exciting. I've always kind of loved being a pioneer in emerging technologies and AI offers some of that. And there are a few digital snacks that are AI based that I'll be sharing this morning. So, if you can find the hand raise button, if you have that available to you, if you've seen me present before, could you raise your hand in Zoom? Just checking to see here. We got several hands popping up, 6 or 7. I've seen some familiar names. Valeria, good to see you. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you're here, and I want to make you glad that you spent some time with me this morning. So to get to know you a little bit better, we'll do our first brain break, a very simple one. Uh, this is just a this or that. Uh, it actually is from Canva. Let me go to it live here. Here we go. It's just a Canva slideshow, and in a moment I'll show you in Canva. If you look for slideshows like this, they're pre-made, but you can then go in and edit and customize them before you present it to anyone. So here we'll really fire up the chat here because it's kind of designed as a partner activity, and some of you do have partners. I love that I can see some of you are all together, so you'll be able to do some social brain breaks together. But otherwise, just in the chat, I'd love to hear you decide which option you prefer and tell a little bit why. It can be, 1 word, 2 words, a sentence, but let's just see. All right. Our first one, I'm starting very controversial already. Uh, which one do you prefer, cat or dog, and why? Dogs because they're always happy. Cats because they tend to be more self-sufficient. The dogs are always excited to see you. Ryan, you've always had a dog growing up. Dogs all the way, cuddly and friendly. Now, of course, if we're in the same room and you're doing this with a partner, it's different than doing it on a Zoom, but I think you get the idea. Let's do one more. Uh, all right. Pizza or pasta and why? Pizza, yummier and messier. Well, I guess it depends on how you eat your noodles. Like you could be kind of messy. Pizza's comfort food. You got memories. But you like noodles. Good. Can use it with a fork. You know what? I didn't like pizza as a kid either, and then my taste buds changed, and I think pizza might be my preference now. I definitely eat more pizza than I do pasta. Awesome. Well, I had mentioned this is a Canva template, and Canva offers for K-12 schools. They offer some a free education account, but even if you're using the free basic account, you can search Canva for different templates. And let me go to a window where I'm logged in. Here we go. Uh, and I just can do a search and I can do a this or that. And you can see they have different designs. I probably want one that is uh, a presentation type. So I can go to the filters after I'm logged into canva.com and uh, this education resource type is a presentation. Let's see what we get there. So there's tons of this or that. There's even trick or treating this or that. There's very seasonal ones. So it doesn't take a teacher very long to pull this up. And if you want to use it, you can just click this customize button, and then you're off to presenting. Oh, this one's a trivia game instead of this or that. But oh, what is the term for the fear closely associated with extraterrestrial beings? All right. Let's see, does it have the answer on the next slide? Oh, there's no answer, so you're gonna have to find those all together, I guess. But uh, let's escape out of there. So Canva, I think a couple times I'll dip into some Canva templates because they have some different ones. And in fact, if you do a search and you look for brain break, you're gonna see things that are just pre-made. But then the beauty of it is you can custom their templates, so you can go in and customize these. A chit chat brain break presentation. What's this one? And you can preview these before you customize it. Oh, what is the highest point you have ever been off the ground without being in an aeroplane? Ooh, what's your party trick? That's a fun one. For me, for kids, it's my middle school teacher once taught me. I don't know if I can do this right. You do this thing with your fingers. It's a good party trick. Anyway, this brain break is or with Canva, brain breaks of just getting kids talking. But when we talk about brain breaks, we probably often think of the physical type ones. Here's a picture of some kids at recess. They happen to be my kids when they were in kindergarten. They're in sixth grade now, so they're not as cute. Uh, but they did a study with this was with preschoolers and their executive functioning, but they found that kids who played outdoors came back from breaks most ready to learn. And we know that. We know the importance of recess and physical movement. But there are times you can't get outside. There are times where it takes a lot of time to line up and go out there. So the brain breaks I present today are within my knowing outside, running around big spaces. Those are best, but they're not always what we can do. So I'm going to show you some shorter ones, simpler ones, digital brain breaks because, I've spent, like I said, over a year making this list of brain breaks, and I'm always out on the lookout for ones that are free, so you don't have to sign up and pay for anything. That they have no login, so that students don't have to sign in. The exception being Canva, where if the teacher is presenting a slideshow, you do have to sign into Canva to use it. But uh, otherwise, in general, there is no login. There just give students a link, or you do it as a class and there's a link and you can get going. Uh, I looked for browser-based snacks, brain breaks, where this will work on any device. Most of them even work from phones to laptops to tablets. Definitely important is low prep. As teachers, we already have so many lessons to give that uh, we don't need to spend a lot of time preparing a break. And they're designed, they could be whole class, small group, or individual. And as my brain break list got bigger and bigger and bigger, I wanted to categorize them. So I came up with 7 categories that they seem to fit into, and those include relaxing, cognitive, sensory, physical, humorous, social, and creative. So we're going to dip our toes into each of these 7 categories. And I'll continue a little housekeeping before I get into the first category. I love that some of you have your cameras on. That's important to me so I can see faces and get some feedback. But I also know you may be doing other things. So there are times where your camera's off, and I'm definitely okay with that as well. I try to monitor the chat when I can, but if there's a timely question that comes up, feel free to unmute and just ask it, or you can ask it in the chat. And if I miss it in the chat, you can repeat it or just save it for a time. I'll try to stop periodically for questions as well. And then at the end, I'm going to ask you if you have some favorite brain breaks that you do that I didn't include on my list, because I'm hoping you have some so I can make my list even better. Uh, I guess right now I'll stop. Any questions or thoughts before we move into our first category of digital snacks?
I do actually. Good morning.
Yeah.
I'm
Good
sorry.
morning.
I don't
No,
want
don't
to
be
break your
sorry.
flow, but you asked for questions. I was
I did. Yeah.
chatting with Terry. Is there a difference between the Canva personal account versus an education account? in terms of maybe
Oh,
the different templates that are offered. I use my personal account, and a couple of my coworkers are using the education account, but I never asked if there's a big difference.
yeah, that is a beautiful question. Uh, so Canva offers a free version that you can do pretty much everything in there. There might be a few limitations or some graphics you can't use. They're usually marked with a little crown, meaning that they're
Right.
reserved for Pro. I think the Pro is what, $120 a year. Pro is pretty much the same as an education account. You get extra AI features and that. Uh, and you'll really notice it when you go to like export it or share something from Canva, because if you've used any of the elements that are reserved for pro and education accounts, uh, either it won't let you save or it puts an X through it.
Yeah, the
Uh,
watermarks.
yes, yes. So you'll see the watermarks. So if you have an education account, there's no watermarking.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and if you go to canva.com/education, if you have if your school has like a verified email, you might be able to get in on some free education account action. It took me a while to get an education account since I wasn't associated with a school, and then I started substitute teaching, and the school gave me an email account to do that. And then with my AI coordinator role, I have that same email, so I use an education account now for that. Christina, thank you. Excellent question. Any others before I get rolling? Right, then our first category, we've already kind of started it. It's social. Uh, Social brain breaks, they're ones that are designed to maybe foster some collaboration or build connections between students. Um, they kind of work well if your class energy is low, and you need just a moment for students to communicate and bond, or students love to talk and they are just dying. If they know a social brain break is coming up, that maybe that'll help them stay with you during your lesson longer. Uh, Studies highlight the importance of social interaction, creating that culture in your classroom, and getting that sense of community. So we already looked at the this or that. Um, with these brain breaks, you're going to kind of have to have your educator mind on and say, how can I use this? Because it might be something you just do in front of the class. Maybe you give students a link to it, or you put it in Google Classroom. We'll talk about different ways to serve up these snacks. But here's a fun social one. I just picked out a few of these. This one is a shared piano. And I think, let me go back to my browser here. This is they call it a Chrome experiment. And it just gives me this piano. And then at the bottom, it's bigger for you, there is a place where I can copy the link. This is where it gets social. I believe I can invite up to 5 people. So it's going to be the first 5 who click this uh, can join my piano. And then if you start playing, we can actually play it together, even though we are on different devices and in different locations. So you can either click on the screen or you can use the home row keys on your keyboard. So don't be shy. Let's make some beautiful music together. So my hands are free. I'm not doing this. This is our collaborators. All right. Pause for a moment. And I want you to see, even though you can't talk to each other, you don't see each other, can you compose something that's spooky? Ooh, spooky. So you went to the lower keys, a little slower. All right, compose something that is exciting, lots of energy. Nice. All right, one more. Then I think you get the idea. I'm going to switch it from piano to let's do woodwinds. Uh, do something calming. I didn't change it to woodwind. What's going on here? Let's see. All right, well, we're still piano. It just usually it just changes it. Maybe I have to play first. All right, now try it one more time. There we go. Ooh, I don't know what's happening there. I'm going to close that. Anyway, an example of a social brain break. Uh, Another one, and let me put the, you'll get links to all of these brain breaks in a little bit. In fact, I have, here is a little chart of the ones I plan to demonstrate, but you're going to get a lot more in a little bit. So that last link I put in there, if you want to have that up and follow along, and some of these you're welcome to, but really I'm going to demonstrate and then give you time to try some things out. This one's pretty clever. It is a would you rather, but the would you rather, my link's straightened out here, is done a little differently than before. This is pretty clever. So this web page, the teacher you show this on your big screen, and then it's asking me to use my microphone. And the reason is it's going to present a would you rather question that's appropriate for school. And then students vote by applause. So it can get a little loud. Now, uh, if I had you unmute, I have earphones in, so we can't really replicate this in a Zoom, but I'll try. So let's see what this would you rather is. So these are randomized questions, but would you rather always have to shout or always have to whisper? All right. There's a few people like I don't think I want to shout, so I'm gonna just keep it quiet. So it says it was 46%. I'd rather always whisper. So now let me woo, yeah, whisper, yeah, woo. All right. The winner was whisper. So you can call this up on your classroom computer so easily, and then just click start and have a quick kind of conversation and a little bit of fun, a little bit of energy, a little bit of socialness before you go on. Let me close up some of these. Oh, here's that document I talked about. So now we've come to our first explore time. And like I said, here we go. Uh, I have a Padlet that you can call up to explore more. And then I would love to hear your ideas about what you see here. So when you follow the link, try to follow my own link here. The link in the chat goes directly to a Padlet that asks for a password. Anytime you're asked for a password today, the password is all lowercase and it's YUM, YUM. So anytime you need a password, YUM will get you to this Padlet. So this one is our digital snacks that are social. And don't worry, at the end, I will give you a link that has all 7 of these links in one spot. You'll have them all in one spot. But here I'm just giving you section by section to limit us as we talk about them. So with this Padlet, and it's something that I'm going to continue adding to, I've been adding to, like I said, over the last year. These are some of the social brain breaks. You can see that would you rather that I talked about, the true and false. There are some Canva templates, but there are some other ones besides that, like a tier maker and stand up, sit down. And then every brain break, it could find a lot of YouTube videos. So if you click the videos here for social, it'll open up another Padlet. And I've picked out some videos that have a social component to them, whether it's something that you kind of pause and make predictions for, or kids go crazy for this cake or not. I'll mute it there. uh, when I do some substitute teaching, I pull that if I give them a choice, this is the video they always want it. They want to see these types of videos to know if something is made of cake or not made of cake. All right, so with all this in mind, we are going to take a little bit of time to explore these, and then I want to see uh, what you think. So as you go through and explore, go into the chat and put in some questions, and that link is there. Remember, the password is yum. And I set this timer for 4 minutes, but I think in the interest of time, I'll probably stop it at 2. So and it's really hard for me to change my timer while I'm in slideshow view. So I'll leave it at 4 for now. But I'll check in with you in about 2 minutes to check on those social links. The short link you see at the bottom of the screen is the same one I put into the chat. I just made it easier to type in case some of you need to type it and you're not able to click from the chat. Uh, and then actually the most important thing though is when you find one that you really like. I think this Would You Rather is really cool. Uh, Please, please, please click the thumbs up, and then okay, you can call me Calm Hamster, fine. Uh, Click the thumbs up. Oh, maybe do I? Oh, no, it moves. Ones that you thumbs up, and you can thumbs down if you don't like something too. Too loud for you or something. The thumbs up one rise to the top of the list. And so I think over time, as I present this to more and more educators, we can get a list that you can, when you see a lot of thumbs up, you're like, ooh, okay, people have tried this and they're really liking this one. All right, so give those thumbs up. I'm going to start our timer, and I'll check back in with you in 2 minutes. And I have some digital snack music in the background. You can turn it down if you don't like it. All right, I'll stop the timer there, but I'd love for some of us to unmute and either say what they noticed, if there's one they thought was really awesome, or if you've got extra ideas for social brain breaks. And I see Christina has a question about will these links in the Padlet be available for later use? Yes, I have no plans to remove this Padlet at all. You just have to remember that the password is yum, but and I'll give you a link that connects all of the brain breaks into one Padlet at the end. And yeah, I definitely want it to be a resource that you can use in the future. Anything that stood out to you? Seeing what got the most thumbs here. The stand up and sit down, so you can add some of that physicality to it. Oh, Dwayne, Action Movie Kid is way awesome. Uh, and if you can pause it at just the right time, you can have kids guess what extraordinary thing this kid is going to do. With Action Movie Kid, the dad is actually a video special effects artist. So he had films his kids doing something normal every day, and then he changes it up so that they disappear, or there's a meteor shower where meteors are crashing in and they have an umbrella that protects them, and just amazing stuff. It's fun to watch. Kids love it. Oh, but you like unlikely animal friendships. I have some of those videos too. And here's the thing with having the categories of these brain breaks is unlikely animal friendships could be in several different categories, but yeah, I think they kind of do fit into the social snacks. And you can imagine the snacks will appeal to different grade levels and different classes for sure, but a lot of people love watching animals that are be friends and they're unlikely to be friends. So really like the sit down and stand up. They're the emoji compound words. Those are a good time too to try to figure out. So yeah. Well, thanks for sharing what you liked in there. That is always good feedback, and it's nice for us to see what's resonating with others. Well, into some social. How about we move into our next category of relaxing? Take some time to relax. Uh, there's a lot of brain breaks where you can clear your thoughts and that. So let's try one of these. And I have here we go, relaxing. I want to show you something called Pixel Thoughts. Yeah, this is just 60 seconds. If you have students who are nervous, anxious about something, say there's a test coming up, uh, or an election, uh, there's grades, report cards, you can just put something that's bothering you, and you could have students do this individually on their own devices, or if you collectively, as a class, are having some nervousness, uh, let's do it. So we have some thoughts about let's see what in the chat. What is something that is bothering you and that you think might be bothering multiple people? And once we have a topic, I'm able to type it in here, and then we're going to see it disappear with some music and some thoughts around it. So if we don't have ideas in the chat, I do have one that when I taught fifth grade, oh, getting to bed on time. Oh, that's even better. I was going to say when I taught fifth grade, we would come back in from recess, and the kids would have this. They'd play soccer, and there'd be so many arguments, and they'd also do the same thing. They'd come back from PE, and they just couldn't get along. And I was like, just let it go. And they had a hard time letting go what happened out on the field. Letting it go so they could focus in the classroom. So had I had this at this time, I would probably try that as well. So, oh, state testing, studying for test. How about we'll put testing? Because but I did like getting the bed on time too. We'll just put testing in general, and then I'll click done. And then here's what happens. I'll narrate just so that it says relax and watch your thought. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Everything is okay. Your life is okay. Life is much grander than this thought. And notice how it's getting smaller and smaller. And that is Pixel Thoughts. I guess I could, in case you wanted to visit it directly, it'll be on a Padlet here in a moment. You'll be able to see it there. I'll put it in the chat too. Pixel Thoughts. So let's that's they use this with them every morning just to reset themselves, right? Uh, Another thing that's put in the relaxing category. We'll see if it could fit maybe into a better category. And that is the joy generator. This is actually from NPR, and it's actually a way to learn about like the study of joy a little bit. Let's go to it. So, feeling blah, science shows that you can boost happiness by taking time for small moments of delight. We've got ideas to try out right now. So let's play. So they just every time you click, you get one of like 10 different small moments of joy. So you click, and then there'll be some music as you go through this little slideshow. Can reminisce. Sounds, memories, and images from earlier chapters in our lives can evoke powerful feelings of nostalgia. Play this soundscape and see if any particular feelings or memories come up for you. So take a listen and feel free, if you do have a memory come up, to put it into the chat. I'm thinking there should be sounds. I don't know where the sounds are, but we'll see. This is bringing up the memory of having moon boots when I was a kid. It's big boots. And then you can see the Joy Generator has some tips in the middle of the screen talking about different things, along with the visuals that are in the background as I scroll past. Now, I just it's so much better with the sound. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's up here. I don't know what happened to the sound, but if you at the Joy Generator, you can select Get More Joy, and that will take you to one of those 10 interactives that NPR has for us. So that is the Joy Generator. I think that can be relaxing. And ooh, I want to show you this. This is not necessarily a brain break, but it's something that I use to set the stage in the classroom and actually for myself. I This is a playlist that I use quite a bit for myself, and that's uh, lo-fi, low fidelity music. It's music that's pretty mellow. There are no lyrics. It's kind of repetitive. What it is really good background music, and oftentimes it's great for studying. It just kind of fits into the background, but I have some kids that like it drives me nuts when they say, "Oh, I can't stand the silence," and they make some sort of sound or something because they're so uncomfortable in silence. So this adds it makes it so it's not silent in the classroom, but it's not distracting either. And you can find all sorts of lo-fi playlists on Spotify, Apple Music, or there are YouTube uh, uh, channels also that will stream it. So yeah, everyone loves Lo-Fi Girl. She's awesome. Uh, so let's stream this. It's just a screenshot. I'll go to it on YouTube. This one is actually they have seasonal ones. I'll put this in the chat. If you just search for YouTube Lo-Fi Halloween. Oh, that one's not available. Sometimes the stream changes. Let's put Lo-Fi Girl Halloween and search for one that's live. Here it is. Let's see what it
Steve
sounds like.
Gorman said he wanted to make it easier for politicians.
Well, this is fun. We'll wait for this ad. Oh, there we go. Now I can skip it. Here we go. Okay, so it's just one ad, and then when you get started, then you're free. So the Halloween one, it's not like scary, spooky music, but it does have that kind of Halloween vibe going for it. So usually I have this kind of music when I greet students. This is on in the background, and it just kind of sets the tone. And so I show this to you too, because sometimes during a brain break, if the break itself doesn't have much if students aren't talking, if there's something they're doing and the break doesn't have music itself, you can bring in your own music through lo-fi music, and then with the artist called Lo-Fi Girl, just as you can't go wrong. And another approach to using brain breaks is to have a timer so that if students are doing it on their own, they know how long they have. And I'm going to share with you this morning a variety of online timers, but one of the simplest online timers out there is to just go to Google and type in timer for and however long you want it. And then at the top of the Google page, it gives you that timer right there. And you can present it full screen. So let's put some of these together. I'm gonna use a Google timer. I'm gonna play some lo-fi music for probably just I'd say maybe 80 seconds, 90 seconds. While you try this one, you might have tried it before. This is sand.com. This is sand.com is very relaxing. It's a popular one. Your students maybe have used it before, but once you go to thisissand.com and click play now, you just choose your color and you just drop sand in to create mountains, patterns. You know, it's not really about what you create. It's about just the relaxation, the sensation of dropping sand uh, onto the page. I'll go to it myself. And if you click play now, you just drag your mouse and there's the purple. We can change the color to anything here and maybe add some green. It's fun to pile it all up. It uses physics really, so it acts like real sand where the pile gets really tall. That's what happens. You can make a second pile and then just continually changing the colors. Now, if you really do like your creation, you can go to check mark, I think, and then I guess I have to do some more. But then you'll be able to save it as an image or take a screenshot of it if what you created is really important to you. So I put thisissand.com into the chat, and just to let you try this, I'm going to go to google.com and I'm going to say timer for, I'll just give you 1 minute to try it just to show you what I do in the class. Ooh, they changed the look of the timer. That's pretty cool. But Google's timer has a full screen in there. So you can see it has a visual countdown there. And then in another window, I'm going to play some lo-fi music, and I'll let you try This Is Sand for a very short amount of time. All right, that was our quick timer. And you got a little moment of relaxation with This Is Sand. Used a timer so you knew how long you had, and played some lo-fi background music, bringing it all together. Well, now I have some relaxing snacks for you. And there's a link there. Let me put this into the chat. This is the Padlet section that is all about, I'll put that back up for you in a moment, all about relaxation. So the ones I've shown you are on there, and then we've definitely got some more. Password is YUM, Y-U-M. And check out Window Swap. I really want you to see that. There's some typing Zen. Do nothing for 2 minutes. That one's a hard one for students to do, but try it. And then there's a lot of relaxing videos. So you click the videos, some live animal webcams to watch. Uh, it's really relaxing to watch baby animals yawn. Or, Bob Ross. Nobody's more relaxing than Bob Ross. So with that in mind, I'm gonna probably just set this, just use the timer for 2 minutes instead of the 4 minutes. So at the 2 minute mark, I'll check in. Um, but as you're doing this, if you have thoughts or questions, or you really like something, you can put it in the chat. And then please make sure you thumbs up the ones that you like most, so that our list is even better for everyone. So uh, I I will play some lo-fi music, but if you want your own music, you can. Oh, actually, you can't do that. You can mute me. Actually, I'm not going to play music because some of these have their own music in the background. And I don't want what I play to interrupt. So we'll do that. And then when the timer says, well, now I've talked for about a minute, has about a minute left, I'll come back and we'll debrief about relaxing digital snacks. All right. Oh, you look so relaxed right now. Any thoughts or ideas or things that you do to help students have some moments of calm in your classroom? All right, you've outlasted my wait time. So, uh, oh, Gold Digger says breathing exercises. Just I don't know if I have a video on there for box breathing, but that's something that can be very helpful and calming. Miss Reagan, yeah. I just had to read what your Zoom said, but yeah. Thanks. Well, I hope that these resources can be helpful for you. And um, meditation. Oh, Christina says Go Noodle has some breathing and relaxation videos geared toward the younger crowd. So that's definitely something. Go Noodle is one of the top places for any kind of brain breaks, and knowing that they have breathing and relaxation and not just not just dancing and movement is good to know. Yeah, Julia, This Is Sand is been around for several years, and it's a classic. And when I give students choices, that's one that they typically gravitate toward. The problem is getting them to stop. It's like, no, like they want to get to the top or something. Like you to fill up that whole thing with sand takes a long time. I do believe it uses maybe a browser cookie, so they might be able to come back to it later. If they don't log in, but they might be able to come back to it later and continue their creation, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So use them for yourself for sure. Well, a little more research on the brain. There's this article from 2019 that did some research on some stroke patients, and the study found that really memories are solidified during breaks. So what they found is that brain waves changed. Like they're stroke patients, they're already monitoring their brain waves. So they found that they changed much more during rest periods after learning a skill than they actually did while practicing that skill. So what this research suggests is that everybody thinks you need to practice, practice, practice when learning something new, and practice is certainly important. But that instead, we found that resting early and often may just be as critical to learning as practice. So the way the brain is wired, it's still learning, even though you're not actively involved in the process of learning or practicing. Having those breaks really comes down to they're an essential part of learning. So those of you that are administrators, if you go into a classroom and you see that they're doing something silly, something relaxing, something social, uh, it's not off-task behavior. It's not learning. It's an essential part of learning. And if you're a teacher and you're worried about your administrator coming in and thinking, "Oh, we're just goofing off in here," uh, let them know what the research says. But really, I mean, there's the advantages. I could go on and on. You get some improved behavior, the ability to stay on task, increased effort put into activities, reduce stress. These breaks are a win-win-win. Well, let's look at our next category. These are cognitive brain breaks. So this is then changing gears and having maybe students look at use their brain in a different way. So uh, just different ones. You get a quick mental shift. Maybe you're engaging students in different types of thinking. Um, Maybe if students have been, working independently for a long time and they're losing focus, or after they've just completed a task, these breaks could be just what they need. Um, I try to offer some things that are brief, stimulating exercises, and students might learn new things or facts and figures, uh, and just offering some cognitive flexibility. So one I'd like to show you is called the space elevator. Get this going here. There, too many windows. All right, here we go. So cognitive space elevator. This comes from a website called Neil.fun. And that might be a website you've heard of before. Neil.fun has a lot of fun, interesting things, plenty of them that make really good brain breaks for students during school time. The hard part is that you want them to go to the space elevator. They might go to Neil.fun and go into something else. And then that's you as a teacher. Is it important for you to have students stay on this page and do exactly what you wanted them to do? Or is it okay for them to explore the rest of Neil.fun? That's going to have to be the teacher's call. But for space elevator, it's just you scroll up And you just get to learn some facts about uh, the atmosphere and how high a hot air balloon travels. There's a mallard duck. Uh, then we have some old-fashioned planes. It says, "Welcome to the space elevator." There we are, right there in the corner. So can I make this bigger? All right. The only elevator that goes to space. And we keep going up. We're currently in the troposphere. The troposphere contains 99% of the water vapor in the atmosphere. Ooh, I didn't know pigeons could fly so high. And this could turn into a social brain break too, as you can talk through, and kids will point out, "Oh, whoa, look at that helicopter." And they might be surprised how high certain animals fly, like a monarch butterfly can go fly as high as a bald eagle. That's wild to me. And as you climb, the temperature will drop. So there's a little bit of interactivity. It's a bit chilly. Let's pick out a scarf. And then look, our little guy wore that scarf. Just a cute detail. We can keep going up. If you look in the corner, we can see the temperature. And then I'll just, spoiler alert, let's just go real far up. We see where different kinds of planes and weather. And the highest aircraft ejection happened at 23,000 meters. And then we're just way up here. What do you think is going to be the top thing? It's going to be at the very top of this elevator. There's space shuttle. Ooh, what's that? Blue jets, a rare form of lightning. Oh, that's cool. All right. Keep going to the top. And oh, the Kármán line is there, where it's like the end of the atmosphere. Anyway, it's fun to scroll through it as a class activity, or maybe students do it individually. That's the space elevator. They have another one that's deep sea diving, so you go in the opposite direction. Another cognitive brain break is this is fun to show you because I made it. I'm into coding, like games and activities, but I don't have the patience to sit down and actually code. So I used AI, um, artificial intelligence tools like Claude and ChatGPT and Gemini can write some code for you. I use Claude to do this. That doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter that it's made by AI. It's just that there is a link to this game that I made called Glance and Guess. I'll put it in the chat so that you have that there. With Glance and Guess, I can click for the game instructions. Make this bigger. So you're going to see a screen filled with shapes for 10 seconds. Take a good look. And then before the 10 seconds are up, you have to quickly estimate the number of shapes and enter your guess. And then your score is, for each round, and there's going to be, I think, 5 rounds, is the difference between your guess and the actual count. If you don't guess within 10 seconds, then 100 points are added to your score. After 5 rounds, the lowest score is better. Right? Weird explanation. You just got to see it in action. So I click start, and we got all these triangles. There's a timer going off, maybe 55. 3 seconds left. I submitted, and the actual number 81. So I was off by 26. So 26 points have been added to my score. Right, now I'm going to click next round. I'll have 10 seconds. Now knowing that that's what 81 looks like, I think that'll help me mentally shift to thinking about these. That's less than 81, but not by a lot. I'm just going to stick with my 55 guess. 69 shapes. So I was 14 off. Next round, I'm going to go with 49. 82. I'm really off today. Usually I'm better at this. All right. I'm just going to go high. 70. 58. Oh, I should have guessed my 55. I think this is the last round. Oh, there's a lot there. 70? 88. And then my final score, 103. Not great, not bad. So just a quick cognitive games like that are a lot of fun, a nice little change of pace. And then let's see, let's show one more cognitive. Can we go back to Neil.fun? And I have at Neil.fun, you can spend Bill Gates's money. So with this one, it gives you what, $100 billion? And you have to spend it on various products. So if you buy one Big Mac, now that has been subtracted from how much money Bill Gates has. So you could buy 2,000 Big Macs and still have a lot of money left. And if you wanted to sell them back, you can get, I guess do it individually. Well, that's going to take a while. But you can buy packs of Coke. No, those are not $5 anymore. Um, a year of Netflix, bikes. But as you go down, you can buy really expensive things like, oh, well, let's buy this cruise ship. If you buy a cruise ship, you still have, how many cruise ships could Bill Gates buy? 100? He could buy 107 cruise ships and still have money left over. Wild. Because again, another brain break. It's fun to see the math and the just craziness of it happen together. And then we have another timer I want to show you. This timer is called Sand Timer. And I'll put the link into the chat, and then you'll have a place with where you can get this link later too. But sand timer is a little different than other timers because, well, you can see the passage of sand. So you set it over here on the side. You can put it on your classroom screen. And I can set it if I wanted it for 3 minutes, however long. And then I click play, and then you can see the buildup of sand. So just a digital version of a sand timer. A little change of pace from usually other timers that tend to be digital. Margaret, we'll miss you. Thanks for joining, and enjoy watching the rest of it later. You'll get the recording. I think you can even do things like change the colors and the settings in the background if you really wanted to get fancy with your timer. I should use a sand timer, but I have a timer on my slide anyway. But let's take some time and look at some cognitive digital snacks. Put that one in the chat, and then you definitely know the drill by now. It's a Padlet with the password of yum. And you'll see I have quite a few of these brain teasers and puzzles, thinking of a number. There's just different ones here. Please, if there's one that you really like, be sure to thumbs up it so it rises to the top. And like the other Padlets, I also have a collection of a few videos that are a little bit interactive. I really like these TED Talk ones where you're given a scenario and it tells you when to pause so that you, as a class, you can talk about that scenario, and then it continues. Life hacks are kind of fun to watch too. This guy will show a video of a life hack, and then if it's real or not, because on social media, there's all sorts of things that they'll show you that something can happen and then it's not real. Those are fun to watch too. So it's, you know the deal too. I'll just set that timer again, and it says 4. I'm going to say about 2.5 minutes to explore some of these cognitive brain breaks. Do some thumbs upping, and we'll see what you liked in a couple minutes. So give those a try. Well, it looks like a lot of the items that got thumbs up are from Neil.fun because yeah, it is indeed pretty fun. Get some brain teasers that got thumbs up. That Wonders of Street View, giving you some interesting places in Street View. I can see why that one's the one that has two thumbs up right now. That password game is funny and frustrating. It's a, you get to have to create a password, then it keeps giving you uh, more and more restrictive requirements until it's like impossible to actually make a password that meets those requirements. Feels really close to home. But what did you like? Anything that stood out, or questions or ideas you have, or extra cognitive brain breaks that you use that you wouldn't mind sharing? Put it in the chat, or please feel free to unmute. All right, you've once again outlasted my wait time. Nice work. Well, then moving on from cognitive digital snacks, let's talk about how do you serve these snacks? And I have some ideas, and if you have more, let me know. I've already mentioned that really, depending on how this fits into the flow of your class and lesson, they might be served to the whole class, showing on the big screen. You do them together. Maybe they're made for small groups, like I'm thinking like that piano is kind of made for small groups. Or students do it individually. You set a timer and you come back together. But how do you get them to the students? Well, one way can be through a QR code. And there's lots of free QR code generators out there. You just paste the URL for it and show the code. This requires your students to have a way to scan the code. It doesn't work so great on laptops, but if they're using phones or tablets, that's great. Something that you've seen me do, I use short links. I have a TonyV.me short link generator, but Bitly is probably the most popular short link generator. You probably followed a Bitly link to get into the Zoom today. Uh, Bitly, it makes it so it's easier to type and easier to say. Usually you can customize the back half of the URL so that it makes sense to you and to your students. But some of these, like thisissand.com, you don't even have to shorten the link. That one is pretty easy to type, probably easier to type than any kind of bit.ly link that you might make. Other ways to get students links could be through a class website or portal. So if you use Google Classroom or Canvas, somewhere that you're already putting resources, you can put it there either as a new post, or maybe you have a whole page or document devoted to the brain breaks you're using this month, if you wanted to offer it that way. Which kind of is the last one, is offering it as a menu or a choice board. Uh, put it into your own Padlet. Copy some of these from my Padlet and put it into one that you can offer and say these are the brain breaks that we can use, and either have students individually choose, or when I substitute teach, I try to make them real visual. So I'll put little screenshots onto the classroom screen and let them know that as we approach some time, for breaks, I give them some choices, and usually I do a quick overview of each one of these, and then either randomly choose some students to pick one, or if somebody just seemed like they were working really hard, they can be the person who picks the next snack that we eat, the snack that we have. So QR code, short links, a class site, a menu. There are different ways that we get links in front of students. If you have any other ideas, please feel free to put those in the chat. So probably when you think of brain breaks and when most people think, they think of the typical Go noodle. There's a physical break. It involves movement. And we've talked about the importance of movement. And if that movement can be outside, that's even better. But if you got to be inside, you don't have time to go out, you can have some structured physical time. Physical brain breaks, they involve movement, which can energize students. You know, we've seen improved concentration. They're usually best when students have been sitting for long periods of time. Because, you know, as educators, we know this about students that they love to move, they love to talk, and they love to laugh. So if we can bring some of that into the classroom, um, then we they'll be doing things that they find joy in. So there are different physical brain breaks, like especially if you look onto Canva. Canva has tons. Uh, this is just a Canva slideshow that's called Dance and Shake, and they just have some animations. See if I can have to call this up in a different way, but I will have it for you in a moment. Here we are. If I go into present, it's 2 minutes and from Canva. Somebody posted on Canva. It has some music in it and just some animations. Doing this in place. If I fast forward, you can see the different moves that is there. Ooh, dance like it's Friday. And that one's from Canva. You're probably familiar. There's so many things on YouTube. Fitness Hustle TV has a bunch of these where involves movement. You can do some races. And then I was just in a preschool classroom and they were doing, was his name Danny? He was running from dinosaurs and you run through obstacle courses. And I wanted to add that to my list. And I don't think I have yet, but his videos were really good and the preschoolers loved it. And then I put this under physical brain break. I don't know. It's probably doesn't, then you're not moving a lot of your body, but some of it. But I put it there anyway. This is called
Hello,
Space
cadet,
Supply.
and welcome to your flight training. Level 1, time, 4.
So you have to use the arrow keys at just the right time to drop some supplies and miss everything. So it's very video gamey. It's actually from the US Mint, and it's about dropping off money. And I'm doing a bad job dropping off money at these. You got to time it just right. So it's that hand-eye coordination. I haven't run into an asteroid yet. That's pretty good, but I spoke too soon. Anyway, that's a quick one that students could certainly do on their own. All right. I'm sure you're just dying to get your hands on our physical snacks here. I'm going to put the Padlet link inside of the chat there, and then I am going to call it up here. And since there aren't that many of them, and you're probably familiar with these, I'm not going to have the timer go, but you'll have this link so you can explore it. I think there are more videos than there are other kinds. And this is where I could use your help if you do have some physical brain breaks and those channels that you really like. And I need to find that one I did in preschool a little bit ago. That I'd love to add them to get more, because that's where you can use these a few times, like the same one, but you want to switch some up. And definitely there are plenty of brain breaks out there for physicality. And remember, give thumbs up to the ones you like. And with that, let's move on to brain breaks that involve humor. Humor lightens the mood. It can bring some joy into the learning environment. They're great when a classroom feels tense or just students need a mental refresh. Laughter has been proven to reduce stress and increase dopamine levels, and that can in turn enhance memory and learning capacity. It's fun to laugh. And I always think if students don't laugh at my jokes and they roll their eyes instead, any kind of reaction I get, I'm happy. We have lots of jokes online. This one is one from Canva. So let's see if they're actually funny or not. Call up this Canva slideshow. Here we go. So Brain Break Jokes for Kids. So if you search for this, you could find it too. And I just put a link to it in the chat. What is worse than finding a worm in your apple? And the kids can I've actually know so many jokes. One of my proudest moments as an uncle is my niece had this joke book and she read the jokes to me and I knew the punchline of every single one. And she's like, "How do you know all of these jokes?" Pretty proud moment. But I think I know the answer to this one. Finding half a worm. Yeah. Why did the dinosaur cross the road? Because the chicken wasn't born yet. Yeah. And so if you want to add some interactivity too, you could have students rate them. I think that first one, like on a scale of 1 to 10, was probably like a 9. This one, I'd give a 2. What do you call a boomerang that doesn't come back? Oh, you know the answer to this. A stick. Or my favorite one, what's brown and sticky? A stick. All right, my last one here. What did the left eye say to the right eye? Between just us, something smells. The nose, get it? All right. That's humor. Let's switch gears. I'm going to come back with jokes in a little bit, but let's look at something called Emoji Kitchen. Emoji Kitchen gives us emojis on the left and right sides and the ability to combine them together to make a brand new emoji. They usually turn out funny, so that's why I put it in the humorous spot. So let's use our base emoji of, let's say, tongue sticking out. And then it shows me all the possibilities here I could scroll through, or tongue sticking out and the moon. That's what that emoji would look like. Pretty fun. And then I can, like, how about magic wand and a bone? Oh, he's using the bone as a magic wand. Get it? Magic wand and a pumpkin. That didn't really change, did it? All right, magic wand isn't great. Ooh, 100. You can see all the variations of 100 in his sad eyes. That's funny. 100 and hearts. All right, makes sense. How about a hole? And then the hole has all the different emojis. If you really like any of these, you can right click and copy or save the image, so you could use them in projects if you wanted to. But really, it's just a funny way to imagine emojis. Again, a quick break. And you could even challenge students, all right, come up with an emoji that describes exactly how you feel in this moment. Or come up with an emoji that describes our lesson right now and see what they come up with. It'll most likely be pretty fun. So that was Emoji Kitchen. I'll put that in the chat. It'll be on the Padlet, as you know. And let's look at some other timers. So we've looked at timers, Google, just simply typing it in. We've looked at, oh, there we go. So many things open. We've looked at the sand timer. And now I want to show you probably my favorite timer for the classroom, because it is indeed designed for classrooms. It's free. There's no ads. It just has a weird name. The Aftel timer at aftel.net. This timer just features, it's very simple. And let me call it up and put it in the chat for you. But I think it's made by an educator or somebody who really empathizes with educators, because Can I escape from you? All right, get you out of there. Here we are. So it's a countdown timer for learning, teaching, workshops, and presentations. It's just really big, really simple. And then if I wanted to set a timer for 1 minute and 1 minute, no, not 31 minutes, 1 minute, and then I'll click this and 30 seconds. There we go. I can click apply, and of course there's a start button. But what's really great is there are some preferences I can set. So I can have it play sounds if I wanted to. I'm not quite sure. I think it just has some bananas thrown out at the end just for silliness. What to do when the timer is up. What I like is I can have a description. This is the most important thing to me, which is why I usually put timers on slides, because I want to give directions and have the timer at the same time. So this is designed for that. So I can enter a description and tell students what they should work on. So you don't get a lot of space to type, but you can say discuss or reflect on today's lesson. You know, there are kids who miss the directions. So if the directions are on the screen with the timer, they can look up and know, oh yes, that is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm going to give you directions here and make sure I get the website right. And I'm going to give you, there we go, 90 seconds to read some jokes. I actually authored these jokes and I illustrated them in Google Slides, funny enough. And we'll just see what you think of these jokes after 90 seconds. Now, I put it up on there, but I'll put it in the chat too. Each time you refresh this web page, it'll show you a random comic that I've made. I have about 40 of them. So you won't go through all 40, but I kind of like the randomness. If there's a particular joke that really stands out, you know, make sure you write it in the chat, because I would love to hear what you think is funny. So I'm going to start our timer, and I will play, I'll play some background music too, some lo-fi music as you try out or look at some jokes. Remember, you can just refresh the page to get another joke. I hope you think they're funny. All right, our time is up for those jokes. You can bookmark this and come back to it another time if you want to finish the jokes. You might notice that if you had the window open, that you could see the Aftel timer flashed red for a while, and now it just says a big old 0 on the screen and has kept my description. So Ross liked the pinata joke, or at least mentioned it. I hit the gym, not me. It's fun to laugh, and that's why I made sure humor was one of the categories for our digital snacks. And of course, I have a Padlet for it. Let's take a look at it. Password, yum. And so I have open a joke. I've kept that on there. The brain breaks that you've seen, Emoji Kitchen. Uh, this is a classic draw a stick man. I did make a little note in here that the draw a stick man contains a lot of ads, unfortunately. So it's almost unusable sometimes with the number of ads. Uh, if you happen to have an ad blocker, that might be helpful. And then clicking the videos, refresh myself what we have here. I mean, the videos are really fun. If you haven't ever seen a cat versus a toaster, where a cat has no idea that the toast is about to pop up, and then when it pops up, they definitely have a reaction. There's also cats and cucumbers. I don't think I put that on here, but if you ever want something interesting, look up cat. For some reason, cats are instinctively afraid of cucumbers. So people will place a cucumber next to a cat when they don't realize it. And then when the cat does realize it, it's hilarity ensues. Uh, there's just a lot of funny pet videos, cats and mirrors, uh, hydraulic press girl. I've got to show you this one. This one is right. So here, there's hydraulic press, which is its own genre of kind of interesting sensory videos. But she adds an extra layer where she dresses up like the hydraulic press and does an impression of what she sees. Oh, an avocado. Who thinks of this? Somebody's got to be polling. Like this is it. I don't know. I can't help but smile. Oh, the lipstick. What's gonna happen? Oh, it's falling over. She left her hat. Okay, sorry. I could watch these all day. Uh, she also has one, I think, with emojis. Is that what this one is? She does an impression of each emoji. The pencil. So you can see these videos. This is 26 minutes long. You wouldn't use that as a whole brain break. So maybe it's throughout the day you check back in and continue it possibly. So if there are snacks here that you like, please, that you do think are funny that you might use with students, please give them a thumbs up. There, I gave my own jokes a thumbs up. So I'm gonna looking at the time. I'm gonna skip the the timer on here, but do know that these will be available to you very shortly because I really want to make sure we have some time to show you the sensory and creative snacks. Humorous is probably my favorite one. I tell you, a lot of my classroom time now is that I get is as a substitute teacher, and if I can make the kids laugh in the first part of the day, I've got them. They'll be eating out of my hands if they can do some laughing. Another category then for brain breaks are sensory brain breaks. Of course, they engage the senses. They help students become more aware of maybe their surroundings and body, possibly. They're especially helpful when students are overstimulated or restless. Uh, it can improve focus, reduce anxiety, promote self-regulation, and many times are just satisfying to experience. So maybe I could have put this as sand into sensory as well, but I just wanted everything to be in just one category, so that's what I did. My son actually shared Sand Saga with me, and it's almost like this is sand combined with a little bit of Minecraft, maybe. But with Sand Saga, uh, you're given this land, and then it's just an open world, and you can dump more sand. And so you could change the water feature there, maybe make a dam, but then you can add more water. So I click and to select water, and I can fill things up with water. Oh, we can have a meteor land. Sometimes that starts a fire, a meteor over here onto the cabin. Or you can simply just add some fire. And then if you want something that can really burn, what is it? My son showed me. Is it, well, I guess if you add some oil on top of there, then you can add some fire and it'll burn for like crazy. Then you can try to put out your fire. Anyway, you can see how this kind of engages the senses and is just like kind of satisfying and fun. But my sixth grade son just thought this was the coolest thing. So there's a danger of introducing a brain break like this where students play it on their own devices because again, they may not want to stop. They might want to sneak in some of it. Let's engage our audio senses. Google Arts and Culture has something called Blob Opera. Maybe you've seen this one before. It's been around a while. All right. Then you get this blob and you can drag him up and down to make him sing. Oh, now he has a friend. Drag her really high. So this is just a tutorial. Oh, thank you for the applause. And you can record what you do here with each one. But you have the sensory of the sound, but also the movement of your mouse, and then visually watching them bounce. It's you can see why I put it in this sensory category. It's Blob Opera. And then also for sensory is some sounds, ASMR. ASMR is, I used to know this. What does ASMR stand for? Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. With ASMR is definitely there's a sensory response to it when you hear these little sounds. They can be triggering, I guess, in a good or bad way. Usually good. People like ASMR. With there are YouTube channels with ASMR, and usually animals eating does the trick. If I have a loud class, I'll put on something with ASMR, particularly this YouTube channel with animals chewing on things because they want to hear those sounds, which means that they have to be quiet so they can hear it, like this. I thought the video was, come on, play for me. All right, oops. Hold on, let me reset a few things here. I hate it when I leave my slideshow on accident and then I gotta put it back the way I found it. All right, view. All right, now I'm panic clicking and I clicked the wrong thing. Here we go. All right, we're not ready for you yet. I'll just go directly to the YouTube. All right, here it is. All right. Ads are no fun. All right, yeah, come on. It made us watch the whole thing. A second ad. I had a free trial of YouTube Premium, and that was living the life, but it's so expensive. I don't want to have to pay for it usually. All right, so I've muted it, but this is gotta listen. Is the turtle asleep? Let's fast forward. This is an 8-minute video. You can see the microphone picking up that sound. And what I found is usually if I go to this channel, this YouTube channel, they will have, usually it's the turtle does a lot. I'm surprised there's not a Halloween one at the top of their YouTube channel, but you can usually find holiday focused ones as well. So those are some sensory brain breaks, including the ASMR. Put in the chat so you can explore some more on here. Let's see. I'm trying to remember what was on this list. More ASMR where you can mix and match sounds. Usually I invite a student to pick two different sounds to combine, and maybe we use that for our work time if it's not too distracting. Uh, there's button masher where you just have a timer and you just click as many times as you can to engage the senses. Or with the keyboard, keyboard or the mouse swiper, you see how many times you can swipe your mouse around a shape in a certain amount of time. Or Neil.fun has draw a perfect circle. It also has the stacking of rocks, which the sounds and just the way they stack. And again, it's just a nice sensory break. There's a sandbox you can play in. You see Blob Opera there. Just so many there's probably more sensory than anything else. There's a lot of, you can play with an online Lite-Brite. And then for videos, we have some cats that ring a bell and get fed food. It's pretty fun. Uh, my daughter loves these kind of videos, food photography, where it's not really, you're not looking at real food. They have all these tricks to make food look better in pictures, and she loves watching those kinds of videos. So we've got these sensory style brain breaks. You've got a list of them, which then brings us to our final category of being creative. These are brain breaks where you get to stimulate the imagination, maybe make something. Maybe there's some structured learning with it. They're probably best when you want to reignite maybe some curiosity or out of the box thinking. Maybe especially if students have done some pretty intensive cognitive tasks. It's nice to be creative for a while. Um, Studies show that engaging in creative activities actually enhances problem-solving abilities and encourages deeper cognitive engagement. So one way you can be creative is by creating wallpaper with emojis. uh, this is also satisfying, this emoji wallpaper. So here, uh, what I'm given is like, first I can name it. Maybe I'll make a Halloween wallpaper. And then I get to decide if it's going to be spirals, and you can see a preview down below. It can be spirals. These emojis can be in multitudes, different sizes. So you can change the pattern of how they're there. That's what it's stacked. I think spiral is is kind of cool. And then you get to choose the emojis, so you can have them randomized here. But if I want Halloween emojis, let me just insert Halloween emojis from my emoji picker. Oh, spooky. Let's get a pumpkin. And how about a spider? And a ghost. So you can copy and paste emojis into this box or however you get emoji. And spiral just doesn't seem as exciting to me. Let's try multitudes. Whoa. All right. That's a lot of emojis. And you can change the background. You can't see the background much here, but I could just make it a black background. It didn't. Oh, there we go. Now So you just kind of have fun creating with it. You can have it cozy or they're comfortable, means that you'll give it a little more space once it generates. And you can download this and actually use it as your wallpaper on your computer or device, but it's really just a creative exercise. Another creative exercise is gear sketch. This is probably one of my top brain breaks, at least personally for myself. Oh, I think I must have typed it wrong. Gear sketch. Let me see. You don't click that link that you have in there because it probably won't work for you. I built it all up and now I'm not. Okay, let's try it one more time. Oh, maybe just click continue to site. All right, continue. So you can follow that link, but Chrome's going to warn you. I think it's a perfectly good site, but Chrome doesn't like it. It says it's not secure for some reason. Probably because it's not an HTTPS, but you're not putting any information in here, so that's fine. So with this, you get to just draw. So I'm going to draw a gear. It's hard to draw a circle, but I could do it. And then I can draw another gear that maybe interacts with this. They can be next to each other or apart because then, let's put another gear here. Then I can draw a band to put around them. Oh, maybe they can't be, you can change the rotation too. All right, come on. There we go. So if I have this rotating that way, I can click play to see what my gears will do. But you can get crazy and move gears around, change direction, right? Or how hard they actually go. So if they're going in opposite directions, what's going to happen? They're going to go that way because that gear is bigger. Oh, I deleted my thing. Anyway, you can have a lot of fun with gear sketch. And as students are creating, timers are important. So I have one last timer I'd like to show you this morning. Uh, and we've looked at Google for timers. We saw a sand timer. My favorite is the Aftel. But if you just want to change things up, probably, especially for an elementary classroom, uh, the timers at Online Stopwatch, uh, they actually have a nice set of timers. Now you just got to deal with some ads. It makes you really appreciate Aftel without any of its ads. But they have timers that can be a mermaid. You can have timers that it's a plane going across the sky, a candle that is slowly burning out. And you set, of course, as a timer. So you set the time that you want. A race. The students really can get into these different timers. Of course, you don't want your timer to be distracting, which is why I like Aftel because it's super simple. But I do want to point out as I'm talking about timers, we've got one more kind of timer you could use. And then if you are collecting these links, but I'm going to give you the master link in a moment as we talk about creativity. There's one more link in there and you'll be able to see the Padlet with the password of Yum. There's a lot of different choices for being creative. In fact, you can put on a puppet show with your hands that uses your webcam. That one's pretty cool. Remix some art, pianos, drawing, and Tinkerball is a lot like the gears where you can move different things around and make a ball go in different places. For the videos, I only have one right now, and that's how to draw. So I know there are more videos I could add to that, but that's what I have for now. Oh, and if you're into I love TwinPix. Every day they have a different challenge for you, and you have to use words to describe the daily challenge to generate an image, and then it tells you how close you are to the original. It's a fun one to check out. TwinPix. There are so many great ones to check out that I want to show you here. I told you I have all these on one Padlet. So Here it is. Password is still yum. And the link is right there in the chat, padlet.com/TonyV/snacks. I will be putting this link onto my webpage too, but it has all the snacks in the different categories, and you can just scroll down. Because you've been thumbs up and thumbs downing, it will put what's popular at the top. So this is probably going to be your number one takeaway from this workshop this morning is, having this resource that I'm going to continue adding toward. And the more teachers that I use this with, the more we'll have the thumbs up. It's like, this is sand is the top one in relaxing. But you just scroll down and you can see all of these that you've been looking at before. And you scroll over too. There is a link on here, learninginhand.com/snacks, and I'll add the Padlet to this page in a little bit. But the specific sites that I shared while we were going through it is in a link here. And then I just put a couple key slides as a memory so that if you follow this link, I'll put it in the chat too. You can come back and remember some of the things we talked about, like those options for serving digital snacks. And then I have the timers all linked on here too, those 4 timers that I talked about. I need to put lo-fi music on there too. Make a note. Lo-fi on handout. My email is on learninginhand.com/snacks. You can contact me if you have questions or things that you think could be added to my list. I'd love to hear them. I also have a new weekly newsletter where I share little tech tidbits and teaching tidbits in there. And I often include a digital snack or two in that list that I send out weekly. Well, I want to thank you for spending time with me today. I think that these are commonly called brain breaks, but based on what we've seen with the research, it's maybe they should be called, instead of a break, a brain boost, because they really do. I'll let them take off. They really do improve behavior, improve ability to stay on task. They can increase the effort students put in and reduce stress. They really can boost learning. So, Terry, thank you for having me in October once again. And thanks everyone for attending today. It was great to see you all.